Good morning, everybody. Will here, Willderjess, Van Build Adventures. Thanks for tuning in. If you're new and just joining us for the first time, I'm Will. This is our sweet van we built out in 2021. What we're going to talk about today is our ARB roof rack awning setup, and simply showing you guys how this thing pulls out and how easily it works. How awesome it is. It's definitely a different alternative in terms of getting an awning for your van, and it's a cheaper alternative. I'm not sure on the price today, but when we bought it, it was about 600 bucks, and I think it's still pretty comparable to that. The awning itself is an 8x8, and it is enclosed in the housing up on top. It's all aluminum housing, and which, you know, ARB is a highly reputable company. They've been in the off-roading industry for a long time. I mean, air lockers and anything to do with actual, you know, with the off-roading, you know, type four-wheel drive industry. ARB is a leading name in that industry, and so you know the quality's there. And it's been riding on top of the van for now, I guess, year and a half, year or so. You know, and it, you know, no problems, no complaints. We got it bolted directly to the 80/20 that's up on top of the rack, and you know, the thing's rock solid. It's held in by 3 little bungee clip D-loops. Basically, you pop it off, you roll it out, it's set up in less than a minute. It is easier with 2 people to pull out, but I'm going to do it this morning by myself to show you it can be done. And you know, we'll have the whole thing real time, no cuts, no edits. You'll see me pull it out, and then, you know, we'll roll it back in. But you know, we'll talk about it as well, you know, after we get it pulled out. So you guys stay around and stay tuned. Check it out. Which, the kicker, you know, we got to have us a step. Step's always handy for anything with the van, but with this thing's, you know, super light and aluminum, we can stuff it in the back and use it for anything. But the other application I will to note with this is it's not quite designed to be that high. And if you had it on a high roof model, it may be a little too high for the legs. And I'll show you why in a little bit, but just the angle of approach as it comes out, you know, it likes to kind of be straight, but you know, it can come down too. So we'll show you that, but get this thing popped out. It's got a flat lip here, and it's also basically held on by the same bungees. It's just 2 at each, 1 at each end, and it just hinges and lips up the whole tarp. It's just rolled up in it. And what I like to do is just flip the tarp. Just let it sit back up on top of the case here, because you got to pull out the support leg, or the support braces. Each brace is just a quick in and out. It extends, it tightens on itself. You just twist it to make it tighten. You pull it out a little bit and then just kind of let it hang. Do this one too. Kind of kick them out to where it's wider than the tarp. Roll out your base, or your end leg support. The legs are just tucked up into this aluminum housing. They work the same way. Pull it out, twist it a little bit. And just pop in, pull it out. You see it's just a little quarter twist, it locks. It's pretty firm and solid. So now we get our ends, and it's got a hole in this aluminum housing, and the end of this support brace has a little male end sticking out. So you just stick it in that hole, and then you pull the tarp tight, and you twist and lock the support brace, and that's it. You come to this side, do the same thing. Twist and lock, and that's it. It's pretty much set up. You got the Velcro tie outs on the edges here, so you just pull it down and just wrap it around the bar. Go back to itself, which this model also has a light in it. You just plug it in right there, and you can run it in the van, hook it up. But it's an LED light bar. This thing's awesome. It's got like 3 different colors. Super cool. And you see it goes up into the housing, and you see right there is pretty much what I was talking about with the height. The bar is touching the frame of the case, and so if you have this end too short and this angle here is more down, it just puts more stress on it up there, because you know it kind of wants to come straight out. But had no problems with it so far, you know, and we've even had that corner lower. It's the thing about the, you know, aluminum and how it is too, it kind of lets it flex, so it works pretty good. And you see this side's not a problem because it's mounted to the top, you know, track in the internal part of the housing, so it, you know, it closes itself within the track in that top groove. And the bottom one has to go in the bottom groove, and so it definitely, you know, holds itself up there. We've had it in some pretty high winds, you know, have had no problems. It's definitely waterproof. And you see here, this is where this male end goes into the hole in the housing. Same kind of hole is right here. It just goes, maybe you can see if it'll focus. It just goes in right here. And so as you put pressure on it, coming, you know, out, it just holds the tarp taut. Wish I could put a little more pressure on it, and it'll get tighter. It's a little saggy, and plus when you put the Velcro guy outs out on it, it gets tighter, has more rigid support. But you can take these, put them at, you know, basically any angle, any setup. You got loops at the end, and it also has a little stake down at the end where it'll go into soft ground. You have, you know, hole up here you can use for a stake to tie it, to stake it down. And then you also may notice this track here, and that track is there. It's a round groove, you see, and it is in the same fashion as the actual tarp, the awning. It just slides into this track groove, so you can get an extension, then a rain screen, and also a bug net house that goes in this thing, and it goes in this track. And so the extension, you just slide it in just like the tarp, and then you can create another, you know, angled, you can create an angled extension that comes out and have even more coverage. And I think it's pretty much the same material as this. This is a very strong waterproof material. It's more of like a heavy canvas, You can see it's kind of got the square nylon type ripstop material, but you know, it's very durable, and we like it a lot. This thing it is 8 by 8, but in terms of metric, because this thing comes from Australia, this is the 2500 by 2500 model. Let's see if it shows. This is the, yeah, you can see Victoria, manufactured in China for the ARB Corporation in Victoria, Australia, which USB importer in Renton, Washington. So it was made in China, but what isn't made in China. So, but yeah, I mean, you know, we love this thing. It's just, it works great for us in our application. You know, technically there's no kit or anything for this. You just buy it straight from ARB, which we got this off Amazon. They shipped it to the door. I mean, it was like 600 bucks. So in terms of an awning, you know, if you price any of those other ones, you can go through the roof pretty quick. You know, $1,000 plus awning is very easily achievable. So this one, you know, gives you a little cheaper option, but it still works and has everything that you need and want. Easily set up. One person can do it. Granted, two makes it easier. With two, you just roll out the tarp and have the person hold it, and then you do the support braces and have it set up. But you know, like I said, with the light, I'll get the light and hook it up. It comes with its own stakes and supports and stuff. So that the light works great for any time when you're set up and going to be using it. Definitely when you're parking and going to be set up for a few days. And it's got a little groove in it. It's kind of finicky on getting the plug plugged in, but not too bad. Plug that part in, and we got us a 12 volt. It runs off of the only drawback is, which it has another connector here, so I assume you can get and make another type end on it if you didn't want to use the 12 volt plug. But with the 12 volt plug, made a little connection spot right here. You just pop it on, and then it's got a control switch right here that you can cut it on with. And you got different settings. Here's the control switch, which you can see the lights on up there, so you cut it on and off. And then you got different, you can adjust the brightness on it. And then you can also change the color. So it's got like 3 different colors. So it's like white, yellow, white, and then just yellow. So definitely very cool for that. You know, which you gotta have the 12 volt plug for it, but I mean, it's using no power. It's LED, so it gives you some good light under here. You can work and do stuff. I will note, you see up here on the top, you know, we got our 80-20 that ends about right here, so there is a limiting distance on how far it can stick out and be unsupported. But with this, it works good where it lines up with the edge of the door. I do wish it covered the door back here a little more when the door is extended. Granted, you just kind of shut the door a little bit, but then that blocks here. So I'm going to make a tarp setup that covers the back and comes around. So that'll be later in a later video. So again, the ARB awning, it's, I mean, 2 thumbs up. We love it. It provides everything that we need. Like I've said, you know, trying to think of some other key points to throw in here on it, because we've definitely had some use with it. You know, it makes it where you can pull it out and use it if you want to, you know, being quick, but at the same time, you know, you get somewhere and you just don't want to pull it out. But like for us, you know, if we're working or doing something in the van, say Jess is on a meeting and she's in the van working, having a conference call type meeting, then I can pull this out, have some where to sit and hang out and work and have shade and do my own thing, you know, outside of the van. And so it definitely just gives you an option in terms of the van lifestyle for you to have an awning. And with our case, with the dual sliding door, could even get another one and put on the roof rack on the other side and have like the freaking flying Dumbo, you know, double door, double awning van. So I mean, how cool would that be? Maybe down the road. But for right now, you know, this thing's great. But so now just gonna take and roll it up so you'll see the whole rolling it in process. And you know, again, unedited, unclipped roll in. We'll leave the bloopers and the takes in. So you know, and I will note that most of the time, you know, if we're in the van, it's Jess and I, so I have them help, and she can help me with it. But in this case, you know, doing it by myself to show you that it can be done, and you know, it's nothing to it. We'll cut off our lights. There, the first step, you know, is undoing the Velcro on the sides. You pull that off. Make sure it's good to roll up. And then it's pretty much, you know, doing it in the reverse of as we took it out. So we'll take do the legs in. Come on. But that's pretty much it with that part, you know, so you just have to leave. You got the legs pulled out. Go ahead and twist those in a little bit. And rolling it up, and it just rolls up on itself real well with that aluminum end part. There. Pull our braces back in. Take the awning. Roll it and stuff it. You have to make sure of the light wire at the end here. Sometimes it wants to hang out a little bit. You tuck it up in there. That's it. So, I mean, took what, maybe a minute, 2 minutes, not sure. I'll put the time up in the timestamp for the, you look it up in the camera, but I mean, that's it. You know, with 2 people, it's even faster. With 2 people, I know it's under a minute, maybe even 30 seconds. So it's super in and out, super quick. Putting it up wet is not a problem. We've put it up wet several times, and then you get to where you're going, or on down the road later, you roll it back out, even say a few days, and it'll be dry. So I think it kind of dries itself out riding on top of the van. So but anyway, I mean, the ARB Touring Awning 2500 by 2500 mounted on top of our all-wheel drive Ford Transit. This is the mid-length, mid-height van, and we love the crap out of it. So Will here, Willderjess Adventures. Thank you guys for tuning in and checking it out. Adios.